To order, would our TAG program participants like to lead us in the flag salute? So if you could stand up and lead us.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sunshine Law Statement, all requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act have been met for this meeting of the Board of Education of the Borough of Oradell. Notice of this meeting was filed with the Record and Town News and all persons requesting such notice. Mr. Darian, would you read the mission statement?
The Oradell Public School District is dedicated to the ongoing pursuit of educational excellence through comprehensive innovation. I blew it. The Oradell Public School District is dedicated to the ongoing pursuit of educational excellence through comprehensive, innovative curriculum and instruction. The district is committed to providing opportunities for social, emotional, and academic discovery to foster curiosity, courage, and character. Our goal is to prepare our students to become lifelong learners who are self-directed, resilient, productive, responsible citizens.
Thank you. Roll call.
Mrs. Acosta? Mrs. Negum?
Here.
Mrs. Downey? Mr. Griffin?
Here.
Mrs. Norian?
Here.
Mrs. Walker? Here. Mr. Walsh?
Here.
Mr. Darian?
Here.
Mrs. Nichols?
Here, at this time, we will open to the public for agenda items only. Not seeing any, we will move forward and we will skip right to the superintendent's report this evening for our presentation.
Good evening. Are you excited? Well, we are very excited to have you today. This is one of my favorite days of the year because I hope that the Odyssey of the Mind program knows how much I love all of them. I mean, where else would I spend on a Saturday instead of here with you? So I'd like to turn it over to Ms. Sham to tell us a little bit about the Odyssey program and to also share about your accomplishments this year.
Should I introduce myself? No. I'm Tracy Sham, Odyssey of the Mind. I'm proud to say that this year our Division I team went through regionals to state finals and had a lot of learning and growing experiences, hoping that they participate again next year. We failed forward, both teams, many times, and are okay with what we accomplished because we learned a lot. Most of them could build an addition on your house if you need them to. And they're also super creative, and they have a lot of heart together as a team. So I'd like to congratulate them on their finish at state finals. Our Division II team made it through state finals. They were state champions and in their problem in their division. And they went on to World Finals at Michigan State University, where they placed 18th out of 65 teams. Yes. Which is an accomplishment in and of itself. Should I tell them the little caveat part? Yeah? So they also learned something that was a major big lesson, which was when your coach suggests that you do certain things and some certain things have more priority than others, you probably should, listen to her. But so they did learn. When you get excited about a competition, sometimes your priorities change in the moment, but you forget the big picture, and they forgot to look back at the penalty portion and discovered that they went overtime, and for each 5 seconds overtime, 10 seconds overtime was a 5-point penalty. So they ended up with a 25-point penalty, which is how they landed 18th. Otherwise, your Division II team would have been 5th in the world. So it's a great lesson learned, and I'm glad you learned it early. So I'm very proud of them. They have made a really quick slideshow for each of you so that you can see what they did, because we were really efficient this year for Mr. Paul, because he was twitching a little bit with all the stuff that was in the hall, because I had 2 teams. But he was a little curious, too. And so we cleaned up earlier, otherwise they would have had more things to bring to you. So we brought some things we could, and we put together a slideshow for you. So if you would put your attention there. And before I do that, I just want to thank Mr. Walsh again, as always. And Mr. Griffin, thanks for joining us this year as officials at regionals and state finals. And all of your support means the world to me and to our team. So thank you for that.
You're
I'll
welcome.
leave it to, I'll leave it to Division I team to start. I'll go back over here. Okay, Division I. So, wait, whoops. Donation and what you need to do. Go ahead, Ian, come on up to the microphone.
So our problem was problem 1, the vehicle problem, where we had to have a group of pirate characters and a captain, and we had to have a vehicle. And we also had to have a stolen treasure that was stolen from the queen, and then the pirates would return the treasure to the queen. So there was a monster who stole the treasure, and while we got to the monster and got the treasure back, we had to have a few obstacles that we had to make, and we also had to have a flag on board, and also a pirate song that we had to make.
And you used what to help you do that?
We created like a parody.
And what was your jumping off point? What did we do first before we actually changed lyrics?
We
We asked someone who was not a someone.
we actually asked like a computer program, an AI, to put the words in. So we put the song and then the theme of what we wanted, and then they got the words down for us.
It was very cool, very powerful, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so who's next? Go ahead. Hurry, hurry. Fall asleep.
So this is one of the pirate characters' costumes. So I wore the costume. So our main recycled material is cans, and we folded them and attached them onto like the sweater, so we could make a costume.
And why are you pirates as a bunny?
Because the main theme was Snow White, and we were basing it off that, and we wanted the animals to get the treasure back from the sea monster.
What is the costume made of?
So the costume is made out of attached cans, cut cans onto the sweater, and
So you hit the recycle bin?
Oh, yeah.
yeah, we cut all these cans that we
Wow.
were donated and stuff.
Right, so they found lots of different shapes and things that they could do with it to make them look and mimic other things, in this case, like rabbit fur.
Oh, so we used hot glue to attach a lot of the
A
stuff.
lot of hot glue.
Yeah.
Okay, we good? Come on up, Queenie.
So I wear this costume. It's made of cans, and the crown is made of can tabs. And the necklace is also made of can tabs from a necklace from Michael's that I got and put the tabs together on the necklace.
Oh, who's that lady down at the
Oh,
bottom there?
and Miss Holly got to wear the crown.
I have a question for you. Did you cut the cans?
Well, yes, and we also folded them.
Were they sharp on the costumes?
Yeah,
You
sometimes.
had to be careful probably, right?
Yeah.
They're not the same as when we were kids, they're much thinner now. So, otherwise we probably wouldn't have. Thanks, Harper. It's down in my room if you want to see it in person. It was too much to bring up. And the panels you're going to see are also down in my room if you want to see them. But I thought, you know, you'd be able to see it from here. And Harper, was it quiet when you walked? No. Who's talking about this guy? Oh, go Harper. Who wasn't going to sing or act? Go ahead.
So this is the sea monster. We used a little wordplay. We were supposed to make a sea monster, S-E-A, but we made it a sea monster, S-E-E. So we kind of based our theme off of glasses and sight.
Why? What did the queen lose?
The queen, the queen lost her rose-colored glasses. So there were literally glasses that were rose-colored, and then the sea monster steals them, and then our queen is now grumpy and will not sing to the animals.
Did the parents get their glasses back?
Where did you get the glasses from?
So we looked for a bunch of glasses, and then we found the perfect one. We added a lot of stuff to the glasses. I think they're.
Here we go. Yeah, well, we asked for donations, so, you know, whoever sent them did. Go ahead, Rachel. Rachel spent a lot of time on this one with Ian.
Yeah. So for the eyeball, this is the eyeball panel, and
Where does it go in the skit?
it is where the treasure is, and the rose-colored glasses in the middle, where it says "Life is Rosy," is what the queen's treasure is. So
Say it.
The panel thing was inspired by like Elton John because he has a lot of like weird glasses. So we thought that the sea monster, whenever he felt something, he would put the glasses on. So Rachel spent a lot of time making the eyeballs.
As you can see on the bench over there at the very bottom. And then afterwards,
So we had to make the eyelashes out of EV foam. So trace every single one, and then how did you make the eyeballs?
so we used a lot of paint markers for sure. And so I spent like days coloring 30 of them in.
What are they made of?
They were made out of plastic ornaments that you could use for Christmas that you decorate them with. And after we were done, we glued the eyeballs on.
And then we had to make the glasses that represented the sea monster's feelings.
And since they were a little plain, we decided to make them a little more like stuffy.
That's downstairs also. Okay. Go for it. Bring that up if you want.
Okay, so this is what it looks like. So we put, oh, okay.
And not for anybody else.
So basically we took cardboard and we cut it into like rectangles with like circled edges, and then we took a few of them, and then we took an Elmer's glue kit, and then there's like some like plastic screws and bolts, and so we put that on it, and then we screwed in the bolts, and then we were left with this cardboard thing. Then we took some paint, and then we like painted it, and then we layered it down, and then we started putting cans on it. We hot glued the cans down. As you can see, it's like rainbow, and at the end, it's just colors. And then for the beak, or the head, so we took cardboard, and then as you can see on the picture, we took cardboard, and then we wrapped masking tape around it. And then we were left with this like dome shaped thing, and then we cut out cardboard again, and we shaped it into like a beak, and then we hot glued that together, and then we hot glued it. But we didn't like it the first time, so we redid it, and then it looked like that. So then we put yellow masking tape on the sides to cover up all the glue, and then we painted it with yellow paint. And then
Anybody?
So this is our team. Like, we took a photo before regionals, and after regionals, everyone got to have a costume and a hat. And this is the fish hat. So the fish helps the pirates get the treasure with on the ship from the sea monster. So this is the vehicle us the pirates were on. There was many different ideas that we were trying to do, but the idea we settled with was we put bicycle wheels at the end, and then we put a caster wheel in the front. And whenever I shifted my weight, the vehicle would turn, as you can see, because there's only one wheel in the middle, and then change direction. And the propulsion system, since we had to make something more creative than like a pedal, we used like a stick to push both of the wheels at once. And if I turned the stick to like kind of more like force on one side, it would turn to like the other side. And the the caster wheel in the front, it would like also help the turning.
Quick, we're almost there, I promise.
So this is our flag that we needed. It used like a string mechanism that we got from a pop-up book. So whenever we opened it, the string tightened and then it spun the flag around. Sean will show you.
I couldn't figure out how to get the video in there. My skills went right out the window. Yeah, so that went pretty fast. Okay. No. See, this is what happens to me. Hush. Okay. All right, I promise. We're there. Yeah. Up, quick. Style. Who wants to talk about style? Because this is another part of the competition. Go, Rachel, or go, Harper. Go ahead, quickly. You're doing a great job.
So this is another scared portion of the competition, which is style. There are total 5 things that you get scored on. Number 1 is the artistic quality of pirate that's not a team member in a costume, which we made a little bird.
We're going to show them in a minute. We're going to show them in a minute.
And our second one was creativity of an original pirate treasure map, which was made from cans and we used clues, but I think we lost them. So this is the team's choice elements. So it's the artistic quality of the Queen's Kingdom's scenery panels, and the creative use of beverage cans throughout the solution. And finally, we were judged on the overall effect of all these style elements on the performance.
So our map, we were thinking to use some sort of like a cubby system. So without its other clues, you don't know what it's about or what it is. And then with the can clues in, as you can see, it tells clues about the sea monster and that the sea monster stole the rose-colored glasses, and that leads us to finding him.
And then here is Little Bird, which is the non-human pirate character.
You want to put them on the table and show them? AJ, come over here. Yeah, because that one's fun. Go ahead. This was a happy accident. We were trying to make them be like ship legs, and we tried something we thought would do it, and it did something completely different that they ended up loving. So what do you say? Right, and he was the lookout.
So Little Bird was the one who actually found the cans as like trash in the river, and then he would alert us by saying cans over and over.
These are the two panels that are down in my room. Each panel is 4 foot by 8 foot. So together it's 8 by 16, the two panels.
Are we saving the panels
I think so, yes.
down at DPW?
Well, I don't know. Go ahead, Jason.
Did we use any special materials for these panels?
Yeah.
Like most of it was made out of cans. So first we made the panels, and then we found an image on the internet and like kind of went off that, and I first sketched it like out of pencil, and then we painted it, and then we like cut all the cans and fringed them for the grass, and we like made circles for the flowers, and then folded the edges. And then the house, it's made up of like square cans, and then the roof is out of the can tabs. The tree is all made out of cans, and then the only thing I think is painted, and you can see, is the waterfall.
But everything else is cans.
Yeah, and like the path is all like cans, but on like the inside where it's like all silver.
The whole team drew that
Well,
for the most part?
like everyone helped make the panels, but then I mostly drew the like the actual thing.
That is really nice.
Thank you.
You should all
Yes.
get A in art.
Very good. I didn't think it took a lot shorter when we did it downstairs. I apologize.
That's all right.
And then we also needed a membership sign. So we have like, so our membership sign was like a piece of cardboard, and there's like a track shaped like a triangle in the middle of the board.
So these go in here. It's made out of foam and straws attached by hot glue, and you just put it in, and it just moves down the triangle.
Right, so you started where, AJ, on the,
So,
what does this represent, the membership sign?
so the membership sign represents the map of our pirates trail. So we start at the Queen's Kingdom and go down to the sea monster, and this is the lasers from the sea monster. And then we move on to the treasure.
Which is this. The rose-colored glasses is meant to resemble the rose-colored glasses.
And one of the things that was kind of cool for me is that in the center picture, you see someone bending down, talking to AJ about the membership sign. That's a former Odyssey team member who is now judging the problem for Odyssey, finished his second year of college. And it was very interesting because he had something similar for his membership sign, so it was kind of cool that they got to share it. So I just put that in there because I love that.
Nice. They're coming back.
Yep. And that's that for Division 1.
I have a question.
Yes?
Are you guys all coming back next year? Because I have nothing to do in February and April.
We're not all definite yet, right? We have definite maybes right now. It's a lot of work. I mean, it's generally, and you know this from previous years, it's generally about 500 hours without tournaments on after school and weekends. So it's a big commitment, yeah. Okay, where are we going? Go ahead, go for it, Arhan, go for it with confidence.
So our problem was problem 5, which is the acting and humor problem. So we had to be funny and we had to act really well. So we were required to have a dramatic character, 3 common events that caused the dramatic character to overreact, and each one of those events had to have a different dramatic style, whether it was dance or opera or pantomiming or something like that. One of those events was a dramatic reaction, but it was justified. So kind of like the boy who cried wolf, the 3 times he cried for help before, and then the 1 time where it actually happened, but nobody believed him. And then we had to have something that grows, a costume that represented 2 characters that would never had to be on the stage at the same time. And then we also had to use Arm & Hammer baking soda in our solution because they sponsored our problem this year. So this is the dramatic character costume.
The gist of the skit, maybe.
So this dramatic character costume is trick-or-treating with his friend, and they go down the street, which is one of the sides of our panels. And so they're walking down the street, and then they walk into a parrot aviary, which is the other side. So the first parrot they walk into is the automaton, which we will get to see later. So then the automaton our automaton has a Y shape like this. It looks like this. So the dramatic character gets mad that they think he's doing the YMCA dance, but he's just doing the Y, not the Y, M, C, and A. So,
Yeah, we're gonna have each person talk about it.
so that's why he gets annoyed. So my costume is made out of a Harry Potter robe, and we glued on these feathers that are made of milk jugs that we spray painted and we fringed out, so it looks like a parrot. Then we've got the mask, which is made out of like one of those dramatic theater masks. Then we use a cardboard cutout of a beak, and we painted it, and we put bottle tips on either side. And then we have feathers sticking out from the side of it. And then underneath that, we had a vest. It looked like a traffic cone vest, and we put feathers on that too. And then I wore yellow tights for it, so.
Did you say milk duds?
Yes, milk jugs. Jugs.
Oh, I
You
was
were
like,
thinking candy.
yeah, I was like, milk duds?
Okay, so who's gonna talk about the?
So the next objects are automatons. Well, one is an automaton. The other one was supposed to be one, but then we decided to change it up a little bit. So the problem wasn't an engineering problem, but we decided to enhance our solution with some automatons. So basically, the one on the left is able to flap its wings using a cam and a cam follower. The cam rotates, and then the cam follower goes up and down as the following motion. And then the object toward the right is our dead bird, you could say. It started out as an idea for an automaton, but then we decided to just like push it, so that way it would look like it died. And then what would happen? So the background behind why it's dying is because, so there's another parrot that will be shown later that blows up, that its belly blows up, and then this dead bird is horrified by that and decides and feels very faint. And then all of a sudden dies, and then while it dies, there's a string attached to a tombstone, and then that While the parrot goes down, the tombstone goes up and says R.I.P. dead bird. So then that's the storyline behind the dead bird.
Clara dresses like this every day for school.
This is the costume that represents two characters. I'm currently wearing the witch's costume, which is the dramatic character's best friend, and I'm going to demonstrate how I change into the head bird keeper.
And this took some time. So she had to come out twice in each character's costume. So that's part of why the timing of it was challenging. You've been eating too many lollipops, Claire? No. No, I know what you're wearing, something else. I'm kidding you. Yeah. Wow. And duct tape. Your sister-in-law would love this.
Yeah, it's amazing. Kids are a heck of a lot smarter than us.
And anything you used in the first costume had to be a part of the second costume, but invisible. So you couldn't just leave something on the ground, it had to transform with the entire costume. Go ahead. You're hiding what you're doing, but that's okay. So now she has no blonde streaks, just brown, black rather.
So that was the process of the changing. What was challenging was that both sides of the costume had to appear at least twice in the performance, but we were able to manage. The hair was made out of color water bottles, which I cut into twirls, and the witch's top was also color water bottles, but I cut it into bottle chips and glued each piece on the top.
This guy was part of our membership sign. So he's missing his beak right now, but he would stand on this membership sign up there. It was a sign that welcomed them into the parrot aviary, so it was welcome to the parrot paradise. At regionals, he did nothing. He just sat there with a can of soda. I think at states it was the same thing. But by worlds, we added this palm tree, and there's a hole through this palm tree where we slid like a coconut through it. When the coconut dropped, it hit his head. And we had a speaker system that was attached that would play a recording of his voice every single time. So the voice was, refreshing, when he was drinking his drink. And then it was, what was that, when it hit his head. Yeah. And so for the rest of the performance, the speakers would just play parrot noises, like the chirps of birds and stuff, just to make it more immersive.
Ooh. Come on, Leah, go for it. You can take Emily with you.
So this was our baking soda reaction. This is just a bird, and it has a hole in here because a balloon was supposed to come in here, and our reaction, including baking soda, was baking soda mixed with water, mixed with calcium chloride, which creates carbon dioxide, which would fill up the balloon. So if you look over there, that's the bird with the balloon filled up.
And what did you have to get through security at the airport?
Oh, and we got stopped.
Well, no, I'm sorry, you had to drive part of it through. Remember why? So was the calcium chloride in the balloon?
Yes.
Well, the mixture, was it in the balloon?
Part of it?
You forgot. forgot yourself.
No, it's
Well,
like,
who drove it in the car to Steve's? And we hoped you didn't get pulled over by the police, remember?
oh, we drove it in our car to States in a little
What did it
box.
look like? What did it look like, the reaction?
A bomb.
Because it was what?
It stayed together. And
Elaborate, what did it look like? Leah, you know what it looked like. It took you guys hours to keep making those.
It's a Gatorade bottle with a test tube filled with a mixture of water and baking soda and calcium chloride at the bottom. And if we shake the bottle, the reaction occurs. So in order to keep the reaction from occurring, we taped it to the box so to ensure that it wouldn't move, and it resembled in some way a bomb.
Oh my God. Why are you wearing a silly balloon hat?
For States, we wanted to add a balloon hat so that when it popped, it would explode with baking soda. So in the skit, the dramatic character pops the balloon hat by accident and sugar flies out everywhere. Because in the skit, this bird has eaten too much candy, so it is full, and the baking soda represents sugar. But for our world finals competition, we just made the balloon making a bloated stomach after the parrot has eaten all of the witch's Halloween candy. For our skit, we needed a thing that grows. So for regionals and states, we initially made a magic mint plant that would, okay. And it would grow and produce a magic mint leaf that the witch ate after she felt sick after eating too much Halloween candy. But for world finals, because it blended in too much of the scenery, we created a parrot that's neck would grow. And because it was dressed as a giraffe for Halloween, and to resemble more of a giraffe, its neck would grow to make it longer. And we used a counterweight technology for both the magic mint plant, and this parrot, whose neck grows after the dramatic character asks it why it doesn't look like a giraffe for Halloween. This is what it looks like before it grows, and that's what it looked like after it grows.
Oh, wow. And how did the wings move?
It uses pneumatics, so there's trapped air inside of the syringes. So when one person pushes on the syringes from one end, the syringes grow from the other end.
You probably pulled it out when you shook it home, that's probably what it sounded like. Go, Lucas. Go ahead, go.
So just like our Div 1, we also had to do style for scoring, and what we had was our artistic quality of a proper set piece, which would be our panels that were double-sided. So one side was a parrot aviary, and the other side was Halloween panels. And then we did the creative use of materials, the creative use of materials in a costume that is not required. So our costume that was not required would be the peacock costume, and with that we also incorporated plastic bottles with it and other uses of plastic as well. For 2 team choice elements, we did overall humor of the parrot puppet, which I made, and the creative use of the plastic bottles throughout the solution.
A lot of work.
A lot of creativity before they even got to the work.
Yeah. Well,
These are the Halloween house panels. So in the skit, when the witch and the dramatic character are walking through at first, they are walking down a house on Halloween, which is why they are dressed up. But then the panels flip to show another side of the panels.
These panels are made out of like all different types of milk jugs and water bottles. If you look at that red house over there, we used 2-liter soda bottles and we cut them up into little bricks, and then we outlined each brick, then glued it on. The blue panel is like something similar. It was just with like the blue tinted bottles, like you would some kind of sparkling water bottles. Then for the tree in the middle, it was milk jugs that we cut into thin strips, and we spray painted brown, and we had brown glitter on it as well. Then the leaves on the tree were made out of the bottoms of milk jugs. Since we were trying to use every part of a milk jug so we get as much out of every milk jug as possible, the bottom we made into a leaf shape, and then we spray painted those as well. And then you'll see there are also lots of little details on the panel. Like there's a corgi sleeping on a pumpkin, there are lots of bats everywhere, there's a ghost near a tree, and there's a spider near its web, and also a couple of owls.
After the witch and the dramatic character walk past the Halloween panels, the panels flip to reveal that they've walked into a parrot aviary. And these parrot panels were made out of this, the backside of the Halloween house panels. We created parrots and vines, leaves, and flowers to portray the feeling of a parrot aviary. And we colored these milk jugs using plastic Sharpies as well as spray paint.
So these birds are made out of newspaper. They'll be crumbled up into a bird shape. Some of them we covered with masking tape so they were more stable. Then all the feathers on there are milk jugs that we Sharpie colored whatever color we wanted it. So the blue one in the middle, we did light blue and regular blue Sharpie. And they all had a back color and then an underbelly. So for, again, using the blue one, it had a blue underbelly, it had a green and yellow head, and it had a yellow underbelly. And all of these parrots were loosely based on actual parrots that you would see in real life. Oh, also, all of these parrots have names. So, there's a whole bunch of them.
It was funny. I was walking and they're like, Bob's missing. And I'm like, what do you mean Bob's missing? Who's Bob? Then I realized that the name was
Bring it down all the way.
So this is the peacock costume. It was a costume that was not required, but we made it anyway. We're gonna have the costume here, but this is my headband that I put on, and this is my necklace that I put on. This necklace and headband, so this is milk jugs that we colored with spray paint. And then we put glitter on it. Then this is just a soda bottle. And this is the bottom of a water bottle that we colored with Sharpie. And this is a bead, and under it is like foil to give it that shine.
Nice colors.
Really made them vibrant.
The next time that we paint the library, the auditorium, I hope around.
Only if there's glitter.
I'm sure we'll still have some around.
It is.
So this is our puppet that I made to add more humor during the performance, and in the performance, he's basically just this, like, I guess, how should I say?
No, you froze. Go ahead. Take a breath. You're good.
This.
Why is he so silly? What's he trying to hide? Team, help your team member out.
Wait. Oh, okay. So basically, he's trying to hide that he can't sing very well, but he still tries his best. And with his long neck, he tries also to get a lot of attention from others. So I can extend like really, really far.
Yeah, and then the last line of Defying Gravity that he sings is, go ahead, please,
You can't bring me down.
So just talk a minute about the Big Brother one.
So, well, how we made the parrot was we got a milk jug and filled it with water because the puppet needs to be weighted down. So when I swing the neck, it won't just fly off the bench. And then I duct taped it, like completely covered it with duct tape. No, not yet. And then I put newspaper around it to make the body larger. And then I made the toes out of more newspaper. After that, I started working on the head, which is basically, so the beak is the top of a vinegar bottle, and the bottom is the other half of that. And after we did that, we just duct taped it orange and stuck it in. It's like inside of this felt headpiece. And then after we did that, I hot glued feathers on its head, so it looks like outrageously, I guess, very vibrant in colors. And then I made the eyes out of foam balls and then just painted them.
Good job.
So, they were state champions. We have a new banner for the lobby. Anyone? Go ahead.
So just like every year, we had a lollipop sale where we sold lollipops to everyone. We had a huge line that extended across the school, and it went from all the way from the front of the school to the kindergarten door. The picture at the very bottom is all of us before the sale, and the picture on the right is just during the sale when we were all talking to people and making sales. No, that's
Okay. You might as well stay there. Go ahead. You're there already.
This is our World Finals pictures where the top left is us with Sparty. There are a couple of pictures of us eating. Though the bottom right picture is very, very special because we met a team from Singapore and they were all 8th graders and we all talked to each other. We had a really nice time and we took a picture at the very end of it.
They did the same problem. They were in the same division as them.
So we actually competed against them. The bottom left is just all of our props together, what it kind of looks like. And the top right is us walking out of the spontaneous room, actually.
So can you clarify what grades you competed against at Worlds?
So our division, Division 2, is basically the middle school division. So we competed against 6th graders, 7th graders, and 8th graders. Our entire team is 6th graders. So we were kind of like the lower end of the whole spectrum, I guess.
So you did amazing.
That's just, we are still one team.
Absolutely amazing. Just.
Okay, so when you compete, you don't just compete as Arjun or AJ or Harper. You compete on behalf of the Oradell Public School District, and you do so well to represent this district that the board wanted to say thank you today by handing each of you a certificate. So President Nichols is going to call your name, and here's what you're going to do. Are you ready? You're going to come over here, you're going to get your certificate, and you're going to go stand on the stairs, Mr. Darian says. Okay?
We're going to start with the state finals team, and I'll read the first certificate. Certificate of Achievement is presented to the student in recognition of his participation in the 22-23 Odyssey of the Mind State Finals. Congratulations for the Oradell Board of Education. So our first person is Arjun Bansal.
We're going to hold applause till the end.
Harper Benyamin. Jason Chung. Rachel Deng. Ian Sim. Very much for your presentation. Alexandra Wu. Another fourth grader. Nice. Now, this certificate says Certificate of Achievement presented to the student in recognition of their participation in the 22-23 Odyssey of the Mind World Finals. Congratulations from the Oradell Board of Education, Arhan Bansal. Lucas Cho. Leah Choi. Clara Lee. Emily Park. Natalie Vatican. We're going to take a picture over there with your principal and the superintendent.
Just got to wear the crown. She didn't do anything.
Give the parents room.
Got it? I'm going over.
Over here. Ready, one.
He's just a
Everybody
dead
look
bird.
in. That's it, keep looking, smile.
Can't.
Okay, thank you.
The
Yeah.
parents, you want to get? Yes. Thank you. Joe has a camera. OBS. Come on, guys, more energy. Oh, crazy, because it ends with me, remember? Thank you. All right, thank you very much. Bless you. Thank you. Are you allergic to us? I might be at this point. Never.
Great job, guys.
Yeah, I will in a minute. See what they're going to do.
You guys still have sets to build tonight, so go. Yeah, no. 5 more hours.
I just want to tell the students something. Ms. Schaum knows this, but my son was in the first year of the Odyssey program here at OPS. 14 years ago, I think, right? 14 years ago? And I have to tell you, if you saw what they presented, you would laugh. We had sheets, they were spray painting them, their costumes were nothing. If they saw this, they would be amazed. The evolution of this program has been amazing.
But I told you, remember at the beginning of the year, we got to the first regional tournament, and we looked and we went, oh, maybe we should go home? But instead, we looked at everybody else's stuff and decided we needed to up the ante. So
Yeah, your costumes and your props were amazing. Amazing. So thank you for coming tonight. We really appreciate it. We love seeing it. And we wish whoever's doing it again next year good luck, and whoever's moving on to Riverdale also good luck. And we have some fourth graders who can do it for 2 more years also. So we really appreciate you coming tonight and spending the time with us. You are all so articulate and presented everything so well. We really appreciate it.
Congratulations, guys.
Beautiful.
And do you know what, also? I'm amazed at how independent they are in their thinking. I'm sure you're their advisor, Ms. Jones, and you are there for them, but they're creatively always so on target. But this one was outstanding, outstanding.
And I apologize, we were going to invite you to come and see it, but it just got crazy and we didn't get around to it, so you were there in spirit with us. So that's
I
why-
was.
And I am going to I'll send you the slideshow with the video, the actual video.
Oh, that would be great. I'd love to see that. Thank you so much. Thank you.
I can't believe the thought process like where they went. It's, it,
started with an ideation chart,
right.
which if you learn from, STEM-like things, and that's how they came up with their themes.
Just the whole idea of the vocabulary, the things that, they're so mature. I love it. I absolutely love it. Okay, we'll give you a few minutes, right?
So while we have some time, I don't know if anyone noticed, the pictures of the downstairs basement, the hallway, the room. I was just thinking of all those decisions that we were making on, the ceiling, the lighting, the flooring, what type of flooring would they be able to work in that space? Putting doors in the middle of that hallway so that they could not have to worry about going into the other maintenance part of the basement, just to allow for more room. And, it's nice to see the fruit of all that work,
And it's a very comfortable space to work in, so thank you.
Yeah,
We did branch out a little through the doors, though.
Oh, okay. Well, and we did put in new HVAC in there.
It's awesome, yes.
Yes.
Very good.
So, I mean, we weren't happy with just that hallway being stagnant, air, so,
No,
yeah.
it matters to us, so thank you again.
Sure.
Good night, all.
Good night.
Great job.
See you next year.
I just looked at Mr. Mamora and I said, I remember the concert. I remember that our first graders had a wonderful presentation of Squirm, the musical, yesterday. And then my head kind of went blank because there is so much going on in this building right now. It is really hard to keep track of everything every day. So yesterday, somebody went, Mr. Softy's here? That would be the safety patrol picnic. And tomorrow is an incredibly exciting day, so if anyone does have some free time and wants to come to the backfield, it is Grit Day at Oradell Public School. We will be launching next year's Grit theme. And to do that, Grit Ninjas from Paramus will be here with obstacle courses, and every class will go, and they will be teaching them a little bit about perseverance during that to make the day more about than just 1/2 hour or 1 hour on the field. Every class is also having a read aloud about a character that showed perseverance. And at the end of the day, our students will choose between 2 different grit themes. So they, in essence, will choose our theme for next year. And that is funded by a grant from the Oradell Kids Foundation, as was yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday. Yesterday's Coach Stroker was here for 2 presentations, and he too spoke about resilience and about his life story, and that also was funded by the Oradell Kids Foundation. So this is a theme you're going to see coming up again and again, and this concept of what he spoke about yesterday was, as parents, as teachers, we all sometimes want to make things easy, and that's not necessarily how we help kids grow. So if you know anything about Coach Stroker and his life story, we may have him come back again next year. You'll know a little bit about, he's the perfect person to speak about it. And I do have to just add one thing about the lollipop sale. The River Edge superintendent reached out to me, and she said, what's up with this lollipop sale? I got a little action on Oradell residents. Is it like a big thing or something? And who knew that you can sell 4,400 lollipops in 1 year? We actually sold out of lollipops and had to get a second batch of lollipops this year. So something that we take just like, oh, it's the Odyssey lollipop sale, I guess, is bigger.
Next year, you should see if there's a local dentist that could sponsor them. These kids.
With a discount.
That concludes my report.
Mr. Marmora?
Thank you. I just wanted to report there was an addition to the agenda. It's D20. It's a payment for the GL Group, who's the contractor for the auditorium. Anytime there's a payment for a construction project, it just has to be memorialized as a resolution on the board agenda. So that's new from what was sent home in your packets. Also, today received 2 nice surprises in the mail. We received milestone awards for Mrs. Dorothy Nichols and Mr. Gregory Darian. This is from the New Jersey School Boards Association in gratitude of 10 years of dedication to the children of Oradell, Bergen County, and the state of New Jersey. That's Mr. Gregory Darien. And in gratitude of 15 years of dedication to the children of Oradell, Bergen County, and the state of New Jersey for Mrs. Dorothy Watson-Nichols. So this came today.
We got a pin?
It
Get
goes
a pin?
fast.
Yeah.
Yes, it does. Because when I first came on, I think you two were around 15.
Really?
Yeah, because what are you at? 30?
31.
Yeah, when I came on, you were right around 15.
Yep, yep.
And I was like, wow, 15.
And look how easy it's been.
Hopefully you can stick
Congrats,
around.
Mr. Darien.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Marmora.
But sometimes I,
Thank you.
wonder how I got roped into this, you know?
Anything else?
Nope, that concludes my report.
All right. Review of minutes, May 24th. Any questions or comments, please email Mr. Marmora. Approval of meeting minutes for May 10th. Do we have a motion?
I make a motion that we approve the meeting minutes of May 10th.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Mrs. Norian. Any questions? Call the question?
Mrs. Negum,
Yes.
Mrs. Downey,
Yes.
Mr. Griffin,
Yes.
Mrs. Norian,
Yes.
Mrs. Walker,
Yes.
Mr. Walsh,
Yes.
Mr. Darien,
Yes.
Mrs. Nichols.
Yes. Buildings and grounds, Mr. Darien?
Yes, before I introduce items B1 here for our lead testing every year, I want to go over, we had a meeting just this week, I think, and we discussed a lot of the programs we're doing, projects we're doing this summer. Just to quickly, summarize, we have the paving areas on either corner of the front of the building. So on both sides of the entrance to the auditorium and both sides to the entrance of the library. And that'll be paved, and we're looking at benches. So parents, kids can sit there, I guess while they're waiting for school to let out, or for any other reason. We have the Center Street softball field area project. That's the retaining wall there that's falling down. So we have some trees that are dying, one tree's dead. They're going to be cut. The retaining wall is going to be removed. We're going to assess the area, and we're going to determine whether or not we should use pavers, stack stone, or boulders as retaining the earth. And then we're going to look at re-landscaping that area. So it should look a lot better from Center Street. We've got some plumbing repairs to do this summer. We've had some leaks in the hallway by the NPR. The gym floor needs to be completely sanded and refinished. We're going to do that this summer. We're going to paint the NPR. The steam room, we're looking for furniture still. We're looking for additional quotes from vendors. And we have the stairwell projects where the stairwells need new treads and risers, and we identified what color paint, and we're also going to be painting the walls and the underside of the stairs, and so we discussed all of that at our last board meeting. I'd just like to bring your attention here in the auditorium, since we have later on an approval of GL Group. GL Group is responsible for a lot of the construction here. We have new doors now, both on the second floor balcony and the first floor. They've been upgraded. They're brand new. They meet the current standards. They have all their new hardware. And we have the hardware throughout the other doors so that everything is now similar in terms of style and age. So that pretty much wraps it up. We need to have a wrap party. And other than that, I think we're still waiting on a projector, but other than that, we're pretty much done here. So with that update, I'd like to introduce items B1.
I'll second it.
By Mr. Walsh. Any questions? Call the question?
Mrs. Negum,
Yes.
Mrs. Downey,
Yes.
Mr. Griffin,
Yes.
Mrs. Norian,
Yes.
Mrs. Walker,
Yes.
Mr. Walsh,
Yes.
Mr. Darien,
Yes.
Mrs. Nichols.
Yes, Ms. Bozius just pointed out something to me. Everyone received an HIB report in their packet. It was just not put on the agenda, so we're going to add under A, a resolution to accept HIB custom ID 05.17.2023. And Mr. Darian, would you make that motion? This is just to accept the report, not to affirm it.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion under A1, resolution, was that 05-17-23, which is an HIB report for adoption only.
Acceptance,
second.
acceptance.
Acceptance only, excuse me.
Second by Mr. Walsh. Any questions? Call the question?
Mrs. Negum,
Yes.
Mrs. Downing, Mr. Griffin,
Yes.
Mrs. Norton,
Yes.
Mrs. Walker,
Yes.
Mr. Walsh,
Yes.
Mr. Darian,
Yes.
Mrs. Nichols.
Yes, curriculum, Mrs. Negum?
Nothing to report this time. I think we need to schedule a meeting shortly, but yeah, hoping to have another update next time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Finance, Mr. Griffin?
Yes, I'd like to introduce items D1 through D20.
I'll second it.
Second by Mr. Walsh. Any questions or comments? Do we know what the increase in real time was this year? Or what any of the increases were?
I can, yeah, I have to check.
Oh, we don't know?
No.
Do you know like a percentage or anything?
I
or-
can, it's been varying between 3 to 5% for the renewals, but I'll have to check on real time specifically.
I have
I mean,
one.
did any of these go up real high in percentages?
5% has been the highest so far.
So do we ever go back to them and say our budget is, I know in the past we did this, we have a 2% budget cap and they're giving it to schools? Like, do we ever go back and say, do we ever argue the price?
If it goes over 3%, I'll usually call and ask. Most notably, New Jersey School Boards that's a very big increase. I actually did ask about that. All across the state, they're bringing that up too.
Well, they sent that letter that they said they had kept it
Mhm.
steady for how many years, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why. But real time gets us every year.
Mhm.
I have a question on D14. Just wondering what this item is about. Can you provide a little bit of clarity on this, what this is about?
So these are, so Ed Data, Educational Data Services, is a company that we use that goes out and does bidding for us so that we're all compliant with all purchasing laws. So basically, for all the consumables like classroom supplies and art supplies, those items, they go out to bid. It's a very tedious process, so they go out to bid. They do that service for us so that we can just place the orders and we're covered in compliance.
Okay, and that is for the upcoming year, basically?
Yes, yep,
Okay,
for
thank you.
next year.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Call the question?
Mrs. Negum,
Yes.
Mrs. Downing,
Yes.
Mr. Griffin,
Yes.
Mrs. Norton,
Yes.
Mrs. Walker,
Yes.
Mr. Walsh,
Yes.
Mr. Darian,
Yes.
Mrs. Nichols.
Yes. Delegate report. Mr. Walsh?
I have nothing to report except I did attend the delegates assembly and I did vote the way the majority wanted us to vote. We have a new president, we have new officers for 2 years, and that's all I have to report.
Did the votes go our way or no?
Yes,
All of them?
yes,
Even the ones we voted no on?
yes.
Oh. See? That's good. All right. Personnel, Mrs. Walker.
Thank you. We had a meeting this evening before this, and those minutes will be in your packet in the end of the month. And we have an addition, F1. I'd like to present F1 and F2.
Do I have a second? Mr. Walsh, any questions?
We're gonna meet the new business administrator.
If we hire him.
Any other questions?
Yes.
Do we want to vote separately on
You just
these?
vote, if you want to split it, you can just say it when your vote comes up. Call the question?
Mrs. Negum,
Yes.
Mrs. Downey,
No.
No to both?
Well, no to F1, yes to F2.
Mr. Griffin,
Yes.
Mrs. Norian,
Yes.
Mrs. Walker,
No to F1 and yes to F2.
Mr. Walsh,
I'm gonna say yes to both.
Mr. Darian,
Yes.
Mrs. Nichols.
Yes. Policy, Mrs. Norian.
Yes, we did have a meeting on May 31st and reviewed some policies. A couple of them are ready for, you had all the information in your packet. A few of them are ready for first reading, and those are 5118 on non-residents, 5127 commencement activities, and 5131.5 on vandalism and violence. So with that, I'd like to present those policies. Well, I don't really have to, do I?
Yeah, no.
Because first
We don't
reading, I
need
don't
that
have
roll
to
call.
do that, so, okay, so that's
So
not
everyone
necessary.
check them for the next meeting, because they'll be
Yes,
second
please
reading.
read over them carefully.
Especially the
There's-
non-resident one.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of information you'll see in there. Pay particular attention to the red.
Public Relations, Mrs. Acosta isn't here. Who else is on Public Relations? No meeting or anything? Okay. I think that's it for tonight. No public. Old or new business?
We got the
Mr.
parade
Griffin?
coming up.
Mr. Griffin?
Yeah, I just would like to commend the school on the first grade musical Squirm. It was really great, I think, Ms. Bozios mentioned that there's a lot of stuff going on in the school, and so there was no way I can know all the stuff. I've seen all the things, but I didn't go to all of it. But one thing I just would like to commend, this musical was the whole grade. They all sang wonderful. The content of it was just lovely, touching, like things that make you squirm. It was, like bats and snakes and worms, and it kind of had a science bend. I would almost argue it was STEAM-based, but like it was a really a brilliant piece. So just commending everybody on it. So.
Mr. Walsh? You were saying?
No, I just, we have the parade coming up.
Yes, we do. We'll have a meeting before it, though. Yes. Anyone going to be here July 4th? No?
Rita, does everyone have a shirt?
Yes, they do.
Right. Jamie has a shirt?
Well, she didn't care for one.
Oh,
Everyone that wanted one
Okay.
got a shirt, but that's okay.
all right.
And I have a new vendor now, so
Good.
I don't want to tell you how much less it is, but
Oh.
if you want 2 shirts, now I can order you 2 shirts. Okay.
It's good to know.
I just have a quick comment.
I was gonna suggest that the kids, the Odyssey of the Mind team, comes up with shirts for us.
Okay.
The
I
next
was-
shirts.
We'll look into it, John. I had to comment, I attended Coach Stroker's presentation yesterday, I guess. No, Tuesday. And it was very effective. He was a really interesting guy and energetic, but he really had a good theme. And I like the fact that he said he was, what is it? It was 80 months away from 80. 99 months away from 80, so I figured it out, and he was 73. But he's in great shape, and he's had a very interesting life. So, but his whole presentation was on, it's what you do with the adversities that are given to you, and he was very, very effective. So, and I see his possibility of him coming back next year, and I think that would be very wise for many of us to attend, so.
I'd also like to comment because I did attend as well. And not only Coach Stroker, but I thought that our principal did an excellent job. I was so impressed with how she handled herself and the presentation that she made that led right into. They fed off of each other tremendously. And I loved the message. I went home feeling like I'm going to wake up and I'm going to face the day like he says to do. I'm going to look for my gift, and I'm going to work on my gift every day. So the adversities are not just adversities, they're gifts for us to learn from, and that was a great message.
And we're covered for 7 years for him.
Yeah.
We're covered for 7.
Yeah, we're covered.
Right.
Any other old or new business?
Would we go, oh, wait.
Okay, so can someone make a motion for closed session for legal, student, and personnel issues?
I make the motion for those issues
I'll
as
second it.
discussed.
Second by Mr. Walsh, and we will not be coming out and taking any action. And please turn your mics off until the camera goes off.